About 2 minutes before I try to start the actual game. At this point, I might as well flash the mod list on the screen. Doesn't exactly look good on the green background. I made this for another image. Graphic design is my passion, thank you for asking. So compared to a playthrough of something like Skyrim or Fallout, there really aren't that many mods here. You have a few to affect the graphics, because this is an 18-year-old game, and a few to improve the models, because again, it is an 18-year-old game. There's one new mod from the last time I played this, and last time was about a year ago. I can't believe it. And I'll talk about that when we're a little bit into the game. The music that we're listening to is from The Elder Scrolls Online, the Morrowind expansion. Not a great game, like a decent story. But the music on it was a very nice variation. Hi Ping, I recognize your name. Have you ever played this game, Ping? Oh, well good. This is going to be about a 2-hour, maybe 2.5-hour stream today. Getting back into it. Well, it looks pretty from this fan art, but again, it is an 18-year-old game, and there's only so much that shaders can do. But the music's coming to a close, so let's try to get this going. D3D proxy window. There we go. Alright, so because it's been a year since we played, and I think it's a different group of people tuning in, because I've done a new additional mod, I think that it's for the best that we just start a new game. Each event is preceded by prophecy, but without the hero, there is no event. In the waning years of the third era of Tamriel, a prisoner born on a certain day to uncertain parents was sent under guard, without explanation, to Morrowind, ignorant of the role he was to play in that nation's history. One way you can tell it's 18 years old is...
They have taken you from the Imperial City's prison, first by carriage and now by boat. To the east, to Morrowind. Fear not, for I am watchful. You have been chosen.
Many fall, but one remains.
Wake up. We're here. Why are you shaking? Are you okay? Wake up.
Is the game gonna load?
Stand up. There you go. You were dreaming. What's your name?
We're gonna be doing an Argonian again. Our Argonian name is Drinks from Puddles.
Well, not even last night's storm could wake you. I heard them say we reached Morrowind. I'm sure they'll let us go.
The Owo guard making his way in here.
Here comes the guard.
This is where you get off. Come with me.
Okay, and as you can see, we're in the tutorial at the moment. It's going to be a relatively brief one as these things go. Let me just adjust the music here a little bit lower, because I think it's a little bit louder than the dialogue at the moment. So, the heads mod...
You better do what they say.
And the body mod that I'm using come from two different places, so when people don't have shirts on, it's going to look a little bit jarring. At the moment, we can't third-person camera. Look at the hatch and press spacebar to open it. Spacebar activates objects and people you are looking at.
The sooner you leave, the sooner we can move on.
Get yourself up on deck and let's keep this as civil as possible.
Jeez. Fucking cops.
This is where they want you. Head down to the dock and I'll show you to the census office.
You finally arrived, but our records don't show from where.
Alright. So we will be playing a male Argonian. Like real lizards, the males are much more colorful in this game. So you can see, for example, there's a female face like this, but it doesn't have the colorful markings. The males also have a kind of colorful chest, which is something you see in some species like Scalaptrids undulatus, the eastern fence lizard. Also note that different races, different species, different sexes in this game actually have different bonuses to their starting stats. Okay, that's the face we're going to use. Now the hard part is picking the horns. I like these an awful lot. Bunny ears. These are pretty cool. The number of hair options here are due to a mod that I've installed, hence the colorfulness. Okay, I think the options come down to either this one, which has the cool earrings, or this one, which just has a ton of individual, like, frills. What do you think? Generally miss Beast Races from Morrowind, even if they could have made the walking animation a little bit less silly. It's kind of true. There's another thing in this game which is about the Beast Races. Ah, okay. Earrings it is. We can actually change this, but I forget the command to do so, and it tends to crash the game. So it's something that I'll be doing between streams if I decide to do it. Okay, different species, different races have different bonuses to their skills. Alchemy, illusion, medium armor, mysticism, spear, unarmored. There are spears in this game. Athletics is the speed that your character actually moves, so having a bonus to that from the start is pretty nice. Argonians resist all poison, most diseases, and the water-breathing spell is just a convenience.
Great. I'm sure you'll fit right in. Follow me up to the office and they'll finish your release.
Yeah, so the issue with the show race menu is that it tends to reset your stats to the default one.
Head on in.
Yes, we've been expecting you. You'll have to be recorded before you're officially released. There are a few ways we can do this, and the choice is yours.
Okay. You can answer its questions to generate a class. Kind of entertaining, but it takes a bit. Give them the info, we can see what the existing classes are, fill out the forms ourselves. Fill out the forms ourselves. Okay. So the specialization will determine a bonus to all of your stats in that. They'll also be easier to increase. We're going to be going for a wizard lizard or lizard wizard, depending upon how you want to look at it. So we're going to do specialization magic. Now as far as our attributes go, these are a little bit trickier. One of them we will always make luck, because there's no efficient way to raise luck because it doesn't govern any particular skill. The other one's a little bit more hard to pick. Strength would be carrying capacity, but we're just going to ignore that for now. Intelligence is more magicka, lets us cast more spells. Willpower lets us cast spells more easily, and also makes them harder to resist. Agility, we're not going to focus too much on melee, although I plan to do a bit of it. Speed is just if you're lazy. Endurance is the tricky one, because the way that you gain health in this game is you gain 10% of your endurance per level. It's not retroactive without mods, and I haven't put in a mod to change that. So as a result, you want to have more endurance early on. Personality, it's nice to have it, because without personality to start with, you don't have an easy way to raise it, because you only raise successes. But we're going to do intelligence. I want to have more magic at the start. Alright. Now I'm going to explain something about the skills and the way they work in a bit. But for now, you're just going to have to take my word for some of these things. So this setup that they have right now is very clearly I just got into the game and I just don't know how it works. Let me go forward. Whatever armor you're wearing is pretty much fine. Whatever weapon you're using is pretty much fine, and you get athletics to run faster. So let's talk about spells. We're going to be shooting fireballs at people. Let's make that a major skill. The major skills get a higher bonus, and they get raised very quickly. Alteration, a lot of the utility spells in the game are alteration, including ones that end up opening locks. We'll make that a minor skill for now. Mysticism, soul binding, teleportation. Putting these in minor because with the magic, I'm hoping to raise them relatively quickly. And, you know, maybe they should go major. I'll figure it out in a bit. Restoration definitely goes here. Conjuration. Okay. That's good for spells. I'm going to take medium armor. This game has light, heavy, and medium armor. Medium's kind of like the unloved middle child of the group. It doesn't have as much specialized stuff. But I do want to have a little bit of a feeling of that spellblade feel. Last time we played, we used the spear. The interesting thing about the spear is that its governing attribute was endurance, so using a spear was a way to raise your endurance skill. This time around I want to switch it up a bit. I'm going to try to use blunt weapons. So we're going to be a mage in medium armor with blunt weapons, maybe a bit of a cleric feel. The interesting thing about blunt weapons is maces, hammers, and clubs are kind of underused, but the other thing is it permits you to use staves better, and staves are the weapons of the game with the highest amount of enchant value. Block is agility. Let's also add short blade here. Enchantment's kind of obnoxious, so let's forget about that. It's nice to raise speechcraft. Okay, so this is a pretty good set of things. I think the one thing I want to do is I'm going to switch over alchemy and mysticism. Because I need a certain amount of mysticism, but beyond that, I don't think I really need that much. Alteration's handy to have it level up more quickly. Restoration and Destro are good here. Am I forgetting anything? The only thing that really is missing is athletics, which is nice to have go up faster. Sup, nerds? Speechcraft is your ability to... I need a better name than Lizard Wizard. I mean, there's Llama Iguana. God, that's actually pretty good. Damn it. Alright.
Very good. The letter that preceded you mentioned you were born under a certain sign. And what would that be?
Alright. So lots of signs in this game. First time I played through this years ago. The serpent was kind of my favorite because it has a bunch of lore about it being the unlucky sign and so forth. But these are pretty terrible. Poison for 3 points for 30 seconds on touch, but also hurting yourself. A lot of lore there, but not so great. The thief just has a defensive thing. Tower is an interesting choice. Lets you detect creatures and enchantments and keys, and also gets you a pretty strong unlocking spell to start with. If you don't know what to go in the game, usually the lady is a safe bet. Getting the endurance at the start is a nice bonus to hit points. Getting the personality bonus is a good start to being able to talk through dialogue options. But for us, because we're going to be casting a lot of magic, we need something that's going to boost our magicka. If you're not a Breton or a high elf, you just don't have as much as they do. So you need something that's going to give you an edge. The safest one is the mage, which gives you a 50% bonus. The, min-maxed, really weird one is the Atronach, which means you can't restore your magic through resting. You can only do it through potions or through the spell absorption ability. Half the time someone attacks you with a spell, it doesn't go off. Instead, it just gives you the magicka from it. And this gives you a whopping 200% extra magicka, so basically 3 times as much. We're not going to do this, partially because I don't like how artificial it is, but mostly because the webcomic prequel basically has already made this a meme. So instead we're going to go with the Apprentice. The Apprentice is a significant bonus to magicka, almost as much as the Atronach, but instead of stunting your magicka, it gives you weakness to magicka 50%. This is not quite as bad as it sounds. Weakness to magicka doesn't affect elemental damage, so fireballs, lightning bolts, ice attacks will not hit you harder. But everything that's non-elemental magical damage will hit puddles 50% harder. Still, that's a lot of magicka, and I like the theme of him being a wannabe wizard, kind of like bright-eyed and scaly-tailed, but also a bit accident-prone.
Interesting. Now, before I stamp these papers, make sure this information is correct.
Okay. Health is total garbage, magicka 125, fatigue 150. That's good. The starting attributes here change based upon your gender. So for Argonians in particular, the females have higher willpower and int to begin with. But this is pretty alright. If I want to change anything, it would probably be switching out the intelligence bonus for endurance. Let's actually do that. Oops. Oh good, it kept the settings. Actually, we have several skills whose endurance is starting that's very low, so we will be able to raise that. Alright, that's enough nitpicking of that. It's not just the thing is, it's not just the 5 points of health. Okay, it's not actually that great. It's 30 versus 40. So remember you gain 10% of your endurance and hit points every time you level up. So basically 3 hit points versus 4 hit points. Kind of significant, but I'm not going to worry too much about it. Perfect is the enemy of the good. Alright, major, minor, miscellaneous. I'm going to come back to that briefly in a moment. By picking these spells, we got a number... By picking these schools of magic, we got a number of interesting spells that we start with. Have a simple restoration spell, a simple shield spell, water walking, conjuration, summon a ghost, fire bite, and water breathing. Right-clicking allows you to use your menus. When you're done with them, right-click again to close them. By the way, if the UI is ever hard to make out, or there are things I could do to make it better, if it needs to be larger, let me know. We have the means to do that.
Show your papers to the captain when you exit to get your release fee.
Read your papers by pressing the space bar while looking at them, then select Take to pick them up. A release by Emperor Uriel Septim VII's decree to the district of Vanderfall in the province of Morrowind. Drinks from puddles. Argonian, class Thama Iguana. Signed Socasius Urgala, agent of the Seyda Neen, Imperial Census and Excise. 16th of last seed, 3rd era, 427. Like all menus, right-click to use your new menu. You can click and move objects from the world to your inventory. So let's demonstrate that right now in kind of an interesting way. You see there's this limeware platter here that weighs 5 pounds. It is valued at 650. It's kind of very valuable, right? So let's just grab it. That guy comes over to take it away from us. I drop this one. Oh yeah, click. Put it here. Hi. What are you doing? We'll let your actions go for now, but once you're released, stuff like that will get you arrested again. Oh, sorry about that.
Continue through to the next
Pretty quick rate of recidivism. Okay, the one thing about doing that, though, is that in this section of the game only, it actually then makes it unowned, so we can just pick up the platter for 650 monies. Alright, close the door to keep the crimes contained. This is Puddles. Let's take a look at him. He's a good boy. And as I mentioned earlier, male Argonians in this game have brightly colored chests, like a lot of species of lizards IRL. And as was foretold, someone mentioned, oh yeah, what's up with beast races in this? Well, two things. One, we walk kind of dopey, but I think it's kind of cute. Two, though, is we have this posture, and we have digitigrade feet, so you can't actually wear shoes. You also can't actually wear full helmets because you've got a snout. This means that compared to other races, like, you just can't complete certain armor sets as an Argonian or a Khajiit in this game. Should learn how to do combat. Don't think I've forgotten our wager. I want this dagger sharp as Camp's Claw by morning. Rebread. That's valuable. Fortify Strength for 20 points. Fortify Willpower. Ah, yes. The Imperial alcohols are actually great. They don't really have a downside. Puddles has been on the outside approximately 5 minutes, and he's already falling back into his old habits. One of his old habits is going to be trying to turn down the freaking sensitivity on his mouse. It's just weirdly awkward in this game. I don't know why. Times it feels too slow and others too fast. Press F to pull out your weapon. start. I should mention, while we're here, preferences, always use best attack. So Morrowind tried to do something that you probably know if you played Skyrim, which is there are different ways that you can swing your weapon. Like if you're going forward, it's a stab. If you're standing still, it's an overhead swipe. You can also do a side one. This is important in particular if you're using a spear, because the damage on spears are much higher on the thrust than on the chop or slash. You see here that the dagger has a smaller range for that. Yoink, yoink, locked box. Not going to read this particular book, but it's a good chance to see the book interface. This is a description of the signs. It would be nice to know what they were before you pick. The serpent has no season, for it moves about in the heavens, usually threatening one of the other constellations. I like little things like this that remind you that you're in a magical world. Like the fact that the serpent is not, as far as I know, a comet. It's just the stars are actually moving. The warrior is the first guardian constellation who protects its charges during their seasons. The warrior's own season is the last seed, whose strength is needed for the harvest. His charges are the lady, the steed, and the lord. Those born under the sign of the warrior are skilled with weapons of all kinds, but prone to short tempers. None of this information actually means much of anything. Often arrogant and absent-minded. The thief. It's just lore, right? And I think Ken Rolstein, the lead designer on Morrowind, said that the moment for him that was kind of transformative was when he was playing Kwama Eggs. Was when he was playing Daggerfall, I believe. And he went to a shop and realized that he could buy books. And the books didn't provide him with anything. They weren't items or anything. He was like, wait, I can pay for exposition in this game? And as someone who was, a world builder, next part of the tutorial wants us to loot this place to get this ring. That was just magical. So there's a lot of books in this game that do nothing but establish the world. Press spacebar to talk to the captain, select topics, and ask for them. Don't try persuasion on him. If you're not good at it, he will start to dislike you. But one thing else to notice is, let's just go out here for a second. I have a shader on, which will make it so when we go from outside to inside or inside to outside, our eyes take a moment to adjust. So if you watch in here, it's kind of dark, and then it gradually lightens. Not important, just kind of cute.
Your papers, please.
There is this key, but he's kind of looking at me. Hey. First, let me take your identification papers. Thank you. Word of your arrival only reached me yesterday. I am Celis Gravius, but my background is not important. I'm here to welcome you to Morrowind. I'm Celis Gravius, and Knight Errant of the Imperial Legion. So you see, this is how you did dialogue back in the day. Back in the day. Yes, you're in Morrowind. I don't know why you're here, or why you were released from prison and shipped here, but your authorization comes directly from Emperor Uriel Septim VII himself, and I don't need to know any more than that. When you leave this office, you are free, but before you go, I have instructions on your duties, instructions from the Emperor, so pay careful attention. This package comes with news of your arrival. You are to take it to Cassius Cassadis in the town of Balmora. Go to the South Wall Corner Club and ask for Cassius Cassadis. They'll know where to find him. Serve him as you would serve the Emperor himself. I also have a letter for you and a dispersal to your name. I can't tell you where to find him, but you're to go to the South Wall Corner Club and ask for him. Someone there can direct you to him. You know your duties. Balmora is north of Seyda Neen. The road passes Pelagiad Village and Fort Pelagiad, crosses a deep ravine, passes Fort Moonmoth, then turns west the Oda River and into Balmora. The South Wall Corner Club is in the southeast Balmora, on the east side of the river. For more detailed instructions, talk to Elo and the Scout at Ariel's Trade House here in Seyda Neen. But take my advice. You're new here. Take the Silt Strider to Balmora. Fast, cheap, safe. Cross the bridge and head east. Can't miss it. Silt Striders are giant bugs that carry people between places. You'll notice here that he mentions all the places they go to. That's because there's no fast travel in this game. In fact, this is a travel map someone made for the game Morrowind. The red lines are Mage Guild portals. The orange lines are Silt Striders. You can also take boats around the outside of the map, and there's also a set of like teleportation stones you get later. So it's kind of neat because you've got to sort of plan out how you go from place to place. There's enough transportation that it isn't hard to reach any place on the map. I think everything's basically only a few stops away, right? Like a few jumps, but you do have to spend your time doing something that actually feels like moving to a place. Okay. Hopefully alt-tabbing didn't... My game? Nope, we're good. Alright, so we got this package. Set of directions. Do not attempt to read the documents of the package. The package has been sealed and your tampering will be discovered and punished. Report to a man named Cassius Casades. He will be your superior and patron. You will follow his orders. His residence is not known, but as at the corner club called Southwall, people there will know where to find Cassius Casades. Cassius. Deliver the package. Remember, you owe your life and freedom to the Emperor. Serve him well, and you will be rewarded. Betray him, suffer the fate of all traitors. Personal secretary to the Emperor. Let's just open this and read it. Okay. So, this looks a little weird, right? I think it's actually... I mean, it's obviously a cipher, right? I think, in fact, it's one of the historical ciphers. If it were the Caesar cipher, it should just be a matter of, like, adding 13 to everything. But I don't know. The one-letter words are K, A, and S. Regardless, I can screenshot this, but I'm not going to try to sit here and crack the code now. Alright, there. We've been set free for a few minutes and have already broken the rules. And now we're out. Alright, two things I want to mention here. One is... there's a lot of knowledge that we have going into a game like this after years of Skyrim, years of talking about the lore of the Elder Scrolls games, that I simply wouldn't have if I were playing this game for the first time, fresh. So for that reason, I'm gonna try not to talk too much about things that we already know, and just talk about them in terms of what are the things that we would know so far. If we were drinks from puddles, the Thoma Iguana, which are basically that we were a prisoner who just got kicked off a boat in Morrowind for some reason. Are you the one the boat dropped off? Odd to see a boat arrive at the time of day. But the Imperials treated you okay. I swear they took my ring. I swear one of the guards has it. I had it last week before their weekly Let's Shake Down Fargoth ritual. An engraved healing ring. Family heirloom of mine. You haven't seen it, have you? So this is the ring that we got before. Down to the barrel. You found it. Amazing. Thank you, thank you. You're now my favorite friend. I'll be sure to tell the others, especially friend Ariel, who runs the trade house here. Go see him. He'll be happy to see you now. So great, we got a sort of reputation bonus. That's what this bar means up here. One moment.
This is a wondrous encounter. Welcome.
The guards better look out. Heard the local tax collector, Proceus Vitalis, is missing. No surprise, really. He wasn't well liked around here. I would stand out for the crowd. You need to practice a lot to improve your skills, and if you want to increase your general competence, focus on your major ones, the ones most important to your trade. That way you'll advance more quickly. Another little tip to newcomers: always carry a little food so you can freshen up when fatigue takes you down. Eat a little and you can feel your energy coming right back. Alright, so let's talk a little bit about mechanics in this game. So we mentioned earlier the major skills, the minor skills, the miscellaneous skills. One of the issues with Morrowind is the leveling system. You gain a level whenever you gain 10 skill points scattered across your major skills and minor skills. So it could be 10 points in blunt weapon, it could be 5 in destruction, 5 in alchemy, it could be 1 point in all 10 of these. Whenever that happens, it procs the level up. When you get the level up, you get to pick 3 skills to improve. 3 attributes to improve. But the degree to which you can improve them is determined by how many governing skills you've raised for that. So in other words, if I raise 10 points in skills that raise strength across major, minor, and miscellaneous skills, I can gain +5 to strength. But if I've done only a few points, I'm only going to be able to raise it 1 or 2 points. And this is where Morrowind sort of introduces a set of extremely pathological incentives, because it's in your best interest to make sure that you raise either 3 abilities 5 points each, or 2 abilities 5 points each, and luck 1 point, because you can't get more than that from it, every single time you level. And in order to do that, what you end up doing is you end up avoiding raising your major and minor skills as much as you can, focusing on these ones to make sure, okay, I want 5 points of endurance, so I'm going to just wear heavy armor despite the fact that medium armor is what I've said my character's good at. If you don't have enough, then before you go and level up, you tend to go to a trainer and dump a bunch of money. People who watched my stream last year know that a large part of it was, oh god, I leveled up. Let me go raise Long Blade from the Fighters Guild a bunch to increase my carrying capacity. It's a little bit even worse than that, because if you actually end up getting, like, just due to the way that you have been playing the game before you go to sleep, 12 or 15 points from your major and minor skills before you actually sleep and level up, those extra 2 or 5 or whatever points do contribute to your progress to the next level, but they don't contribute to your attribute bonuses for it. So it's a mess. Last time we played, I showed that because I just wanted to demonstrate it. This time, I've installed a mod to try to get around that. So the mod that I have, every 3 skill increases in a particular attribute should equal 1 attribute increase point. So in other words, if I do 3 points of destruction, get this up to 38, we'll get a point of willpower. Similarly, blunt weapon over here, and so forth. So the level up points only really matter for increasing our health, and a little bit bonuses to the attributes. Hopefully that mod will work correctly. Quests are all written with the assumption you can teleport, so go across the country. Yeah. So what do you want? Little advice. Take the Sill strategy for the group more. Fast and cheap. No trouble with wild animals and smugglers and bandits and outlaws. Tell him... Terravandius Nuxius. Right, that's me. So I take the Sill Strider, tell her that I sent you. Trade house, that's the Coast Guard too, and a lighthouse, and that's it. Silt Strider service. Worth Pass. Glad you had. Stivivik, southeast to Ebon Heart. If you're thinking of traveling up country, near Sheolgorad, around in Molag Amar way, or inside the Ghost Fence, you need to know about Corpus. It's a disease that turns normal creatures into beasts, turns men into twisted, mad lumps of flesh, superhumanly strong and full of hatred. You get Corpus from fighting with diseased creatures. It's hard to get Corpus, but harder to get rid of it. In fact, I hear there is no cure. Okay, let's check out the ale house and sell those things that we stole. I mean, acquired. Also, what is my button to set things to special keys? Toggle point of view, menu mode, journal rest, quick menu, F1. I like to make 1 whatever my current weapon is. 4 is usually my heal spell. 2 is usually my primary attack spell, which is going to be Fire Bite for now. 3 will be... let's make it the summoning spell. Actually, let's make that 6. Protection spell. Hey. Read Daedric Dagger. Hey, free ghost. So if you do have the Atronach, one thing that you do is you can just summon the Ancestor Ghost and then attack it, and he'll hit you with spells. That's the easiest way from the start to sort of get around that limitation. Let's demonstrate something else in Morrowind. So here's a mud crab. You can miss in Morrowind. In fact, you often do. Your chance of hitting is a complicated equation dealing with your weapon skill, your current fatigue, the enemy's armor and defenses, your luck, its luck, etc. You come in, Casper? Okay, my spell disappeared. Thanks. Free mud crab. Are you dying, Ghost? Yeah, okay. So a lot of Morrowind early on will oftentimes just... you'll hear a lot of this. And if you're out of fatigue, you hear it a lot more. So basically, I think your chance to hit is halved when you're at 0 fatigue, so just want to eat something to get your fatigue back up. Unfortunately, eating bread can fail. Puddles is not very good at a lot of things, and amongst them, apparently, loaf of bread is hard.
No, I don't think so.
Also note, 35 is what her current feelings towards us are. It's affected if you have your weapon out. Which makes sense, right? If a guy comes up to you holding a sword, you might be a little less inclined to be friendly to him. You look like a Falah who knows his way around, eh? Looking for what others are looking for? Well, they don't have an Imperial Charter, but there's honor amongst thieves, if you know what I mean. Look in the trade houses and corner clubs, talk around. If you look likely and talk likely, they'll give you the word. Daedric Ruins. Daedra cults worship the bad Daedra. You can learn more about that at the temple. Anyway, long ago, before the temple put a stop to it, people used to worship bad Daedra. Molag Bal, Malakath, Sheolgoreth, and Maris Dagon. at Daedra times. But lately, since the Empire came in, some people have taken up worshipping the bad Daedra at those old sites. And I warned you, these are dangerous places. Hey. Let's get some speechcraft practice in. Okay. Never talking to you again. This is Seyda Neen, swamp fever capital of the world. I suppose you're wondering what's going on here. More about the tax collector.
I'm waiting.
Yeah, that's a good explanation from Mako.
Please, feel free. Talk at your leisure.
Yeah, that's right. It does affect speechcraft, doesn't it?
Make it quick, Outlander.
You can read books without stealing them. If you would be wise, model your lives in the lives of the saints. If you would learn valor, follow Saint Nerevar the Captain, patron of warrior and statesman. Lord Nerevar helped unite the barbarian Dunmer tribes into a great nation, culminating in his martyrdom when leading the Dunmer to victory against the evil Dwemer and the treacherous House Dagoth in the Battle Mountain. If you would learn daring, follow Saint Veloth the Pilgrim, patron of outcasts and spiritual seekers. Saint Veloth, prophet and mystic, led the Dunmer out of the decadent home country of the Somerset Isles and into the promised land of Morrowind. Saint Veloth also taught the difference between the good and bad Daedra, and won the aid of the good Daedra for his people while teaching how to carefully negotiate with the bad Daedra. If you would learn generosity, follow Saint Realms the Barefooted, patron of pilgrims and beggars. Saint Realms gave away her shoes, then dressed and appeared as a beggar, to better acquaint herself with the poor. If you would learn self-respect and respect for others, follow Saint Aralor the Penitent, patron of tanners and miners. This foul criminal repented his sins and traveled a circuit of the great pilgrimages on his knees. If you would learn mercy and its fruits, follow Saint Saren the Merciful, patron of brewers, bakers, distillers. This pure virgin of modest aspect could heal all diseases at the price of taking the disease upon herself. Tough-minded and fearless, she took on the burdens of others and bore those burdens to an honored old age. If you would learn fierce justice, follow St. Felms the Bold, patron of butchers and fishmongers. This brave warlord slew the Nord invaders and drove them from our lands. He could neither read nor write, receiving inspiration directly from the lips of Alm Sivi. If you learn pride of race and tribe, follow St. Roris the Martyr, patron of furnishers and caravanners. Captured by Argonians just before the Arnisian War, Roris proudly refused to renounce the tribunal faith and withstood the cruel tortures of Argonian sorcerers. Puddle's a little bit awkward at the moment. Vengeance and justice for the martyred St. Roris was the rallying cry of the Arnisian War. If you would learn the rule of law and justice, follow St. Ohms the Just, patron of chandlers and clerks. Founder of the Ordinators, St. Ohms conceived and articulated the fundamental principles of testing, ordeal, and repentance. If you would learn benevolence, follow St. Delin the Wise, patron of potters and glassmakers. Was the head of House Induro, a skilled lawyer and author of many learned treatises on tribunal law and custom. How many more of these are there? Okay, good. 2 more. It's a good thing I put lemon in this tea. If you would learn the love of peace, follow St. Maris the Peacemaker, patron of farmers and laborers. As a little girl, St. Maris showed healing gifts and trained as a healer. She ended a long and bloody house war, intervening on the battlefield in her white robe to heal warriors and spellcrafters without regard to faction. Troops of all houses adopted white robes as their standards and refused to shed the blood of their brethren. Gives an impression of being very intricate. It is very intricate in terms of what's going on in the engine ping, but what you tend to do is just say, I need to keep my green bar up and I need to hit things. I want to mention something about weapons in a moment, but let's first finish reading this book. If you would learn reverence, follow St. Lothus the Pious, patron of tailors and dyers. Contemporary and companion of the tribunals, and best loved Almarula of the Tribunal Temple. He formulated the central rituals and principles of the new temple faith. St. Lothus is the symbolic mortal bridge between the gods and the faithful, and the archetypical priest. Interesting. Don't take this book, because it's not mine. Bunch of other stuff on the table. Okay. So let's see what this guy has to say. Talk a little bit to him in a moment. Alright, so if you look at something like this iron short sword, you'll see that it has a damage range. 4 to 9 on chop and slash, 7 to 11 on thrust. So great, you want to stab with it, right? Now if you see these damage ranges, like this one has a damage range of 1 to 5 on thrust, you're probably like, oh, that's random, right? No, it's not. You see how you can charge these attacks? The amount of damage that you do on that range is actually based upon whether it's fully charged or not. So if you have one that has a large range, like a high upper and lower value, you're going to want to make sure that you're attacking at a pace where you're charging between the attacks. Whereas if it has a very low range, you might as well just spam the button. Oops, let's put you away. This is important to note for different weapon types, because for example, axes in the game have incredibly wide ranges. It's kind of similar to D&D, right? Where like a two-handed axe is a 1d12, whereas a two-handed sword is 2d6. The nice thing about going blunt weapons is they actually have very narrow ranges on their primary attack, except for this iron mace, which apparently is 1 to 12, so never mind me saying anything. Alright. So you. Hey Puddles, where did you get this, like, place setting? It was a gift from my egg mother. Your egg mother engraved Imperial Trading Company on the bottom of the silver plates? Yes. Alright. Total sold 401 monies. Let's buy a better weapon. Elm CV intervention. Fortified personality. Unhinging. Summon skeleton. Restore your attributes. Restore fatigue. Could buy a robe so people know we're a wizard. Armor rating 8, armor rating 6. Heavy, heavy. Light, light. Light. And let's grab some gloves. These are heavy, so we'll just grab some light gloves. And last of all, let's grab a shield. They don't have a medium shield, so we'll deal. And a lockpick. Cost 50. Cost 50. I think the probe is used for traps and lockpick is used for locks. Oh, we still have a lockpick, we're fine. Anything that restores fatigue is kind of something that we're going to want eventually. Anything that restores health or fatigue is relatively cheap. The staff could be fun, but the Iron Mace looks like it's more damaging. Okay, another thing is that you can try to negotiate plus or minus a few septums, and that haggling will raise mercantile slowly. Popular potions, cure common disease and cure blight disease potions are the most popular with travelers. Ah, that's right. Do you have any of those? No, you just have brandy. That's fine. I can respect that. Restore health, restore fatigue. And you can get drunk if you want to have an edge in fighting briefly. They'll also teach you a few spells here. I forget what Sanctuary does. I think it's better armor? Shield is better armor. I don't remember what section. Maybe it's spell resistance? Did I forget to make Illusion one of my major skills? I think I did. I actually really wanted to use that. Well, I'll just have to deal. We're going to grab this for now. And it's less about the actual spell and more about the practice of it. If this sound is annoying for you, this game's only going to be fun for one of us. Okay. Let's gear up. I did not mean to buy 2 shields.
What of that? Why do you disdain?
Someone should teach you some manners.
I'm sorry, is my mace rude to you? I could use a friend, Outlander. Perhaps I can be your friend. I'd like you to help me recover some gold. That's right, see, I had a bad run of luck playing 9 holes and lost a bit of money. Normally I'd be fine. We can usually keep some gold in our pockets just for the money locals pay us for protection. But I know some of them are holding out on me, especially that little fetcher Fargoth. He's come up light the past couple of weeks when I've shaken him down. I know he's stashing it somewhere. I'd like you to find Fargoth's hiding place. I'll give you a share of the wealth. Yeah, I'll do it. This vantage point at the top of the lighthouse south of town. Keep an eye out where he goes. I'm sure you'll be able to figure out where he's hiding that gold. So, you reach your first town in Morrowind and you already see that the cops are crooked. You're working for the Imperial Legion, but here they are shaking people down. That's not what I wanted. Guide to Vanderfell. So this is kind of long and I'm not going to read the entire thing, but there's a short little map there. Only recently open to settlement and trade, most of the island's population is confined to the relatively hospitable west and southwest coast, centered on the ancient city of Vivec, and the old Great House district centers at Balmora, Aldroon, and Sedrith Mora. The rest of the island is covered by hostile desert wastes, and arid grasslands, and volcanic badlands, and thinly populated by nomadic Ashlander tribes. 9 basic regions. Let's just look through here for information about... This is where we are right now, the Ascadian Isles. Just looking for things here about politics. Ebonheart is the seat of the Imperial government for Vanderfall District and a busy center of maritime trade. Castle Ebonheart is the home of Duke Vedem Dren, the district's rulers and Emperor's representative. Vivec City. Each of the great cantons is the size of a complete town, it's true. And there's a bunch of them. Paladiad is a newly chartered imperial village between Balmora and Vivec City on the western edge of the Ascadian Isles region. For Pelagiad, the houses and shops are built in the Western Imperial style, and Pelagiad looks more like a village of the Western Empire than a Morrowind settlement. Ashlands... Azura's coast. information about the Tovani. Seyda Moor is the district seat of House Tovani and home of the Tovani Council, though only one Tovani chancellor actually lives in Seyda Moor. Seyda Moor is an island settlement and accessible only by sea and teleportation. The town is large with many services, but it's open only to Tovani retainers. Outsiders must confine themselves to the Gateway Inn. Mistress Thorana, that's an interesting character. Telvas is the Tower of Telvanni Wizard and Council member Master Aron. Telvas is a peculiar blend of Telvanni and Western architectural styles and is close to Voss Village. Bitter Coast. Control. Smuggling and piracy on the Inner Sea. So speaking of pacing and choosing players, there's one thing I have to point out when we get to Balmora. We're probably just going to reach Balmora today if we're lucky, because I do want to do some things and I want to walk there. But if you want, and if it's something that would help to just be able to show quickly, I could just jump on the Silt Strider and jump back. Yeah, no, that's going to take a bit. I do want to read this section. The dominant feature of Vanderfell, Red Mountain, is a vast volcano in the center of Vanderfell. The outer slopes are steep and rugged, and the crater is deep and dotted with surface lava. The Ghost Fence, a magical barrier which blocks travel as well as seals in the harmful disease-laden weather called Blight, rings the volcano's outer slopes and is broken only at Ghost Gate. Within the Ghost Fence, rain never falls, and the sun never shines, and the only weather is the red and deadly ash blight. Ghostgate is the gate citadel of the Ghost Fence Ordinator and buoyed armature garrisons. Ghostgate sits astride the only gap through which the monstrous hosts of Dagoth-Ur might emerge from Red Mountain to threaten the rest of Morrowind. The Ghost Fence itself is a colossal magical artifact that completely encircles Red Mountain and prevents the Blight from spilling its corruption across the rest of Vanderfell. Looking good. Got a dead bug on my arm, dead bugs on my shoulders. I'm wearing a mint green bathrobe.
Please, share your thoughts.
Let's turn on the option to always use the best attack. There really is no reason not to. Outside of immersion. By the way, the textures are upscaled in this game, actually by an AI. Like, they trained a neural network to teach how to do it, because it's too complicated to do it by a simple algorithm, and too tedious to do it by hand. Obviously, you'd have to redraw them. Got him. Okay, I think I have... Do I have 2 things that can restore fatigue? Yeah. Puddles is free. Let's make his first potion. Hooray! as soon as you do a story step, you are told that you immediately go for the next one because the fate of the world rests upon you, and it's blatantly false. Yeah, so think about it. In Oblivion, the very first thing that happens is the Emperor comes to you, tells you you're the chosen one, and then immediately gets killed in front of your eyes. And then the people who are with him are like, hey guy who was in here for loitering or something, the Emperor seemed to like you, so why don't you go out and be the hero? Play Skyrim, the very first thing that happens is like a dragon attacks. It's a big fucking deal. And then you go to the first town and you end up getting dragon killed, and then you soul for it, and everyone says, oh my god, you're the Dragonborn. A bunch of old Jedis on a mountain yodel at you, and like the game is off, right? In both these games, it's clear that you're important, and it's clear what the threat to the world is. As far as Puddles cares right now, he just got released on a boat. He's told to go do an errand for a random guy at a corner club. Sun shafts are working here with the shaders. That's kind of cool. Puddles just vibing. Okay, all the stuff here is not belonging to me, but...
Help!
Oh, oh, hi. Thanks for helping me raise block. I don't really want to kill you. Can I just... Are you gonna stop? I think I can probably just kite her around stuff. Oh, let's hit quick save though. Too complicated. Okay. Poets are right. There's something life-changing about being in love. I'm not going to read this entire book. Looks like it's a story about a work thief. I've been out of the right society for a very long now, frowned her friend Cargol approvingly. You never told me what happened to your first husband, you know? The one the shaman gave you? Torn apart by ash goals, smiled Kapkanchi dreamily. It was rather saddish, but I know nothing like that would happen to Wardwog. No life of adventure for him. He's practically an Imperial. In fact, he is one. Did I tell you how we met? He was your jailer, and he refused you food until you promised to marry him. Oh yeah, that's super romantic. Have you ever heard of anything so madly romantic in all your life? I know I said I wasn't going to read this, but now I'm into it. I'm invested. There's no point in hoping what cannot be. We'll leave with the Imperial Knights for Balmora immediately after the wedding, but as long as we're in Dagenfeld, the gang will find some way of disrupting my love life and bring me back to light. I know it. Okay, so when she was not transported by Hetty Blist. Mendicants hurried away. Which of her old gang was stalking her? So you're in love with your Imperial jailer. Or true, I don't think that this is actually supposed to be tongue-in-cheek. Kapkajna was truly happy, making arrangements for the ceremony to be performed at the very dungeon where Wardwog had imprisoned her. Her father was long since dead, another victim of the Ashgulls, but her fiancé's commander volunteered to act in his behalf. Of course, Kapkajna had to supply her own dowry. She spent every last mark of her savings of ill-gotten gain to buy her beloved a truly wonderful present. The wedding was set for the stroke of midnight, as is work tradition. The handmaidens, wives of Imperial officers, were busily sewing her into a gown of red velvet and fine gold filigree in the mid-morning. Dulcetta, one of the handmaidens, remarked that she had heard that Kapchana had brought Wardwug a truly beautiful gift for her dowry. "Let me show it to you," Kapchana giggled, dashing from the room half-dressed to her alcove. The present had been stolen. The women were horrified, but the Wraith found herself merely irritated, not surprised. This was truly the old gang's style. They knew that a wedding ceremony without a dowry was marked as unlucky. She asked her handmaidens to finish dressing her quickly while she pondered what the burglars would have done with her treasure. The whole region was honeycombed with secret lairs and abandoned sites thieves used to store their loot. There were obvious places, of course, but after much reflection, she thought of where she would have put it under similar circumstances. Once the handmaids had finished, Kapkanja bade them to make certain that the ceremony went on as scheduled, and not to fret as she might be a little late. She wrapped herself in a shawl to protect her gown from dungeon dust and set off for the shrine of Malakath. Everyone wants to be the main hero right away. I think I can get her back just after 24 hours, right? Or I can just learn a spell to calm her down. It'll be a good use. Wraith had never before attempted to rob her own friends, and though she was peeved at them for trying to ruin her happiness, she had no interest in hurting them physically. Her style was to avoid conflict, though she knew it would be inevitable. The lessons her mentor Cargill had given her had helped her avoid the lances and blades of guards and Imperial Knights over the years. Now she would see if they would allow her to survive a den of thieves and unknown dangers of the shrine, without, most importantly, ruining her dress. How many pages is this? Okay, not too bad. The desolate place was so empty as she delved into it that she feared she might have made a miscalculation. It was not until she found the small room hidden down a long corridor that she knew she was at the right place, and that it was well suited for an ambush. She grabbed the chest with her treasure within and turned to face the assault. Two of her old gang, Yoram and Uri, the Red Guard twin brother and sister, were outside the door as she came from the room. They knew the Wraith better than to taunt her and immediately attacked. Yoram struck out with a left thrust of his blade while Uri sought to rush her. The Wraith merely sidestepped Uri while dropping her weight to her rear left leg, shifting her right shoulder to the left to slip past Yoram's strike. The twins crashed into one another and Kapkanja passed swiftly on. Almost immediately she was set on by the Argonian Binyar, his mace whistling through the air at her head. "Hey, this is like you, Puddles." They had never much liked one another. The Wraith snapped into a duck, so the mace whacked with a tremendous clamor against the stone wall. Binyar was thrown off balance, giving her a few seconds lead hurrying up the passage. Ahead, she could smell the fresh night air. Last of her dowry's defenders was Surag, an orc with whom she had shared a brief romance. It was he who Kapchana knew had masterminded the theft. In a way and in context, she thought, his devotion to her misery was rather sweet. At the moment, though, she was most concerned with avoiding his barbed axe that seemed ideal for breaking her dress's fine stitchwork and the flesh beneath. Bending her knees slightly, bobbing to avoid strikes to the head, weaving her head to confuse Surag of her next move, shuffling her feet arrhythmically. "Hey, this is a, Wait, no. Okay, no. Thought for a moment that the antecedent was the attacker here rather than her, and it was going to be a canonical, same-sex romance in a 2002 game. Alas. Shuffling her feet arrhythmically, the Wraith made an impossible target. She ducked inside his thrust, sidestepped his swings, and then sideswept his thrust and ducked his swings. As erratic as she tried to make her defensive move, Surag still kept pace with her, refusing to budge from his position at the dungeon outlet. Midnight was coming, and the Wraith finally decided that she must end the confrontation. When Surag swung out next, she sidestepped to her left, swayed down, and ducked her head so the axe whistled up for her right shoulder. In that instant, his right side was exposed, and she reluctantly smashed the chest hard into his torso. There's not enough time for Kapkanja to see if she had killed him or merely knocked him unconscious. In truth, she thought of nothing else but rushing to her wedding ceremony. Yeah, it's nice of, the angry people of Morrowind to respect library rules. At precisely midnight, Wardwog and Kapkanja were united together. He was delighted with her dowry gift, a fine suit of armor that would make him the envy of other Imperial jailers. Even more, he was enchanted by his wife's tale of retrieving it from the Shrine of Malakath. Did it occur to you to put on the armor when you knew that it was an ambush? I didn't want to dent your present, she replied between kisses, and I certainly didn't want to wrinkle my gown. Oh, that's a nice story. Unfortunately, the book is owned, the bread is owned. I'm not going to steal anything else, because, you know, if your AI was a bit better, I could be concerned right now. Oh, okay. Alright. So remember that we were told to watch from the lighthouse. It's 4 p.m. Let's rest here for 4 hours. Not quite dark enough anymore. This looks pretty dark. Oh, there he is. The game does have a quest log, but it's best to keep a to-do list in a game like this to remind yourself of what you're planning to do. So, calm down, angry lady in White House. Lighthouse, rather. Still nothing. Wait 1 more hour. One of the shaders I'm not using makes the nights darker and the interiors darker. I just think it makes interior sections far too dark. But it would be nice if night were a little bit darker here. Okay. He's hanging out there, but he's not moving. Midnight. Nope. There, someone's doing a sneaking animation. And it's not very sneaky when you run right into a guard. Forgot thinking, did he notice me? I don't think so. One thing I miss from later games is NPC going to bed at night. Give a lot of life to tomorrow. Ah, yes. I think that was referred to as the Radiant AI. They made a big deal out of it. They were quite proud of it. The fact that everyone in their world had their own routine. Their own schedule. It's important to realize, and I'm not making excuses for it, but this engine was basically written from scratch. It's sort of one of the first beginning ones. I'm sure they brought in a few things from like Daggerfall and Redguard, but according to some of the oral histories of it, they've also described it as just working from bare metal. So the idea of having your characters in the world. Okay, he went to the stump. And have them move about. Was kind of an accomplishment in their eyes, as it should be. When you're inside most buildings, most characters you're going to see are just standing still. Okay. So, 300 monies, the ring, the journeyman's lockpick. Oops. They had these articles about living in Cyrodiil and all these complex AI behaviors. There was none of it in the game. Yeah. I don't believe I'm helping a cop, but the reason I'm doing it is I want to get it out of my quest journal. Hiskar Flatfoot asked me to do him a favor. He believes that Fargoth has been hiding money from the Imperials. I'd like to know where it's gone. If I work for him, he'll give me a share of the bounty. I wonder if I can talk to Fargoth instead. I don't think so. I think he's just like, talk to me. What are you doing?
Go ahead, stranger.
Hiding place? I don't know what you're talking about. Leave me alone.
How are you?
And we take a malice to his feelings towards us. Great. I'll give you 100 gold and keep anything else you found in there. What an asshole. On the plus side, we do have this ring, which is a little bit of healing, 1 to 5 points, versus the one that's 20 to 80. You know what?
Speak, traveler.
Last spell or two. Practice your skills. Don't practice on citizens. We call that foul murder, and we don't like it. You can kill smugglers and bandits and other outlaws all you like. Outlaws have no rights. Plenty of adventurers make a living from killing and looting outlaws. That smuggler scum down in Amaseratus, for instance, the cave down near the Siltstrider platform. Hey, you want your buddy's ring? Let's try the idea of turning ourselves in. No, doesn't look like if we don't have a bounty. We just have a lady who wants to murder us. That's fine. Failing this a lot because of the fact that I'm at 0 fatigue. So this is the Siltstrider platform. You can go all the way to these various places. So, for example, you could go all the way to Vivek, the capital city, and get completely confused at the start of the game. Oh yes, he steers business my way, and I do him a little favor now and then. Poor fellow, I don't think he's happy here on Vanderfell.
Where
That's
would you
interesting.
You have something to say to me?
Why don't you do something about those smugglers in Adamastar? It's right over there near the Siltstrider port. And these guards, look at them, just strutting around. Somebody just paid them to ignore the smuggling going on here. So when I first played this game, years and years ago, I totally was kind of missing out on the tone of this starting town. And the fact that more or less everyone is corrupt in the place that you just landed. We have people shaking down Fargoth. We have a local smuggling ring that apparently the guards do nothing about. And locals suspect that they're getting paid off. And now I can't help but notice it. Hey, both on the ground. Teriel. Journal of Teriel. I believe I may have found the correct formula for the spell I'm developing. With it, I will be able to travel great distances without the need to pay others for the service. If all is well, I will test out the new spell tomorrow. I believe I worked out all the possible complications. It will allow me to leap great distances, covering many hundreds of miles. Never before has one been able to travel in this manner, vaulting from the ground, sailing through the sky, all without the terrible disorientation of a spell of flying. Time is almost upon me. My research is finished, and all my calculations are checked and rechecked. They laughed at me when I suggested this. We'll see who laughs after I leap to the top of their towers and scream out my success. Hey, robe upgrade. Extravagant shoes. Not gonna wear that hat because I like my beautiful head. Alright, so he has these scrolls of Korean flight. On the off chance that someone hasn't played this before, by the way, if you can read the font, this actually says stuff. Save and try this. So what this spell does is it fortifies acrobatics 1,000 points for 7 seconds. Watch the bottom right for the buff. The thing is, 7 seconds is not enough to land. So it increases your jump ability really high, but it doesn't last long enough for you to have that ability when you land back on the ground. I do just love the fact, though, that they put this right outside of town. It's this funny little thing. Sleep for 8 hours from 2 a.m. See if Puddles can do the thing that I tried to do and failed last night. So 8 hours is not enough to actually refill our entire magicka bar. Good to know. Okay, this is a touch spell. Expert wizard. Alright, let's try to clear out that cave. They even show you what happens if you use them without taking the appropriate precautions. If you are beast race, you will always be raising unarmed somewhat because you can't put anything on your feet. Yeah, those scrolls are basically fast enough to get you to Red Mountain, I think, in one jump if you know how to time it. Jumping everywhere you go will basically drop your fatigue, but it will also raise your acrobatics. Alcohol that's not not from the Empire's heartland has these penalties to your mental attributes. I like to keep a Flynn handy and some of these other ones in case you get your carrying capacity filled up. Also, in Morrowind, your carrying capacity will actually slow you down. Another reason that heavy armor is questionable. Okay, that lady is there. Got a few options for this. The safe one is probably to just summon a ghost. I kind of want to fight, though. chill.
This is the end of you, Switch!
Also note that bandits in this game all have names. Hey, new pants. New shirt. Value 4. Okay. Medikiji Acrobat next and had a lot more fun. Acrobat's a good class. If you're not too worried about, like, min-maxing your eventual stats, then having acrobatics and athletics early on, and a pretty good weapon skill and agility are good ways to go. Attacking this game, hitting is a matter of, your weapon skill and your agility. Okay, so we enter the Smuggler Cove, and the first thing that we see is, in fact, what they're smuggling is people.
You have questions? Sun and warm, marsh brother.
Can I pick up the bracers? Can you move? No? Okay. You moved. Not really. So yeah, not only are they ignoring the local crime whatever, but local crime whatever is a slave smuggling thing. Slavery is still legal in Morrowind at this point. So help me, I've become a stealth archer. Who didn't even hit that guy. Oh, this asshole. Do you want to help out there, Casper? So Conjuration plus Short Blades is pretty good to start with because it's really easy to attack with this dagger, and it's kind of top end. 9 to 20 versus, you know, what my mace is doing, which is like half that, and it's fast. Oh. Ow, throwing stones. Oh right, there are throwing weapons in this game. Thanks, Ghost. Throwing weapons sell for a lot, given how much they actually weigh. I prefer bracers to gloves. Gonna have to figure out how to make the mouse go faster. Hey, free monies. amulet. If it seems like there's a lot of things that you can equip in this game, it's definitely the case. They just went crazy with the number of slots. The advantage of it, of course, is later on if you want to do enchanting, which we will do at some point. It gives you a lot more places to put things. Hey, skooma! Pillows. Hey, moon sugar. Fortify speed. Salt rice is delicious. Always grab it. Keep trying to interact with steel daikatana. Okay. While you were studying illusion magic, I was studying the blade, which is why I forgot to make illusion magic one of my major skills. Yeah, bound weapons are super good, especially bound bows. They're all good. The mace is a little bit less good, but we'll deal with it. Oh no, breathing problems. If only I were a superior lizard race. Hey, skeevers. Do you restore anyway? Water breathing and drain fatigue, not very useful. Grabs it anyway. Water walking and drain fatigue. It can still be good for practicing some potions. I wonder. That one's stuck. Can we put our tool, like the mortar and pestle, on a quick bar item? Yes! Okay, that's actually pretty great. Make some health potions here. Hash yams can make you stronger. Okay, so this potion's just not something you want to drink. It's a good way to raise our skill in it. It's not the case in this game that you can put it on your weapon as a poison, sadly. Where are my potions of restore fatigue? Oh well. Gonna hit you eventually, rat. And when I do... back of the entrance. There we go.
Warmly greeted, friend.
I wanted to show what the effect on the bracers are, but... Okay, let's see here. Drain Magicka 3 points on self. So basically, as long as you wear it, it just drains your mana stores. As a way to keep wizards from escaping. Makes sense, right? How much swishing you do. It's true. It's like a Kung Fu movie. Okay, let's sell this stuff. Head north for a bit. Hit our next point of interest, and then probably take a pause there. Actually, no, I got a bit of time. I can go. Puddles is fine with this. Oh right, I actually installed a shader that makes the rain on water do something. I mean, it doesn't look great. There are little trails there. For an 18-year-old game, I'm proud of it. What people were able to accomplish. Okay, let's sell...
You piqued my interest. Please, share your thoughts.
Nope, don't want to do that. Oh, right, moon sugar. I don't want any trouble. What moon sugar? Oh, skooma? Criminals use this kind of currency. They say it makes you fast and strong, but clumsy and stupid. Of course, I want nothing to do with it. What skooma? There we go. Okay, get rid of all these daggers. Keep the bow. Get rid of the throwing stars. Get rid of this. Get rid of that. Actually want to wear this one because I like it more than the pauldrons. I'm rating 2, I'm rating 1. We'll replace it later anyway. Cheap shirt, not gonna wear the hat. Expensive shoes. Old pants. The Iron Spark Sword's kind of interesting. Hey, you want some poison potions? Great. And I don't think that Puddles needs to be wearing the best robes. He is a wizard, so I kind of want to, but at the same time, I just don't care that much for that one's look. Okay, total sold 100. Do we want to buy anything back from this guy? I don't think so right now. Let's just increase that a little bit to practice mercantile. Oh, come on, dude. I thought we were friends. There we go. And I will go dispose this skooma and moon sugar in a appropriate receptacle, like in my mouth. Oh, wait, right. Leave those on the table. I don't want to carry this katana around. You can have it. Come on. Back to my shitty mace. Hey you're the one who doesn't want to be here anymore, right? I had 100 drakes of you and next both to Narcissus. Came here to make my fortune. All I got is this cursed ring. Say, give me 100 drakes for it. The ring itself is worth more than that, but the enchantment's cursed and no one will buy it from me. Sucks the blood right out of you every time you use it. Sure.
Go ahead, stranger.
So it hits you for 10 points of damage and gives you a minute of faster running. Let's give it a shot. Okay, that almost killed me.
How can I help?
Yeah, armor was the way that we raised strength last time I played this. That and using weapons that I didn't really care about. Catch my breath. Haha! Oh. You can wear a skirt, pants, robes, and so forth. Puddles believes in layering. I think the bulbs are water walking. Levitate, that's right. The pods are water walking. Yeah. Let's make some water walking potions. That's breathing. Cool. Signpost up ahead to tell us where we're going. Sounds like the rain is stopping. Look how quickly that quick save is. It's kind of sad because if you compare this game to like the future ones, you can definitely see how Bethesda game engines have gotten more and more sluggish over time. I also, earlier people were talking about how Oblivion felt like a betrayal in many ways, like it was overhyped. And I think there's like a quiet tragedy to Bethesda and Morrowind in that Todd Howard is someone we make fun of right now. He's sort of like a meme, the butt of jokes, renowned for overpromising and even deceiving. The thing is, Todd Howard was also sort of instrumental to Morrowind's success. He believed in it. He was like a good pep rally cheerleader type. Kept the investors on board. Increased spirits when they were low. And believed in the project and what it could do. Those colors are pretty. And apparently was like a pretty good boss in terms of Ken Rolston knew how to create a world, but not how to create a game engine, or more specifically, not how to create a team that could create a game engine. And even Michael Kirkbride describes him as, I think, unsung hero of Morrowind. So, you know, Todd Howard actually made this game happen. And the thing is, he's still the same person that he was. It's all the things that made him good at Morrowind are the things that we hate about him now. Like, he believed in it, he hyped it. Yeah, the reason Morrowind is the way it is instead of being like Daggerfall. Like, I haven't talked as much on the stream about why I like this game so much, but the open-ended world is amazing. The way it presents the story is amazing. It's just a game that I still love and people still talk about. And that same person then went on to make Fallout 76, so it's kind of a Greek tragedy there. Jesus lizard. Oh, I need to equip my shield. Got unequipped when I went weeb. So the missing here is due to the fact that my fatigue is empty. I only need to hit this guy twice, though. There we go. Let's get ourselves a little bit more restore fatigue, which we can do with the crab meat that we just looted. I thought, oh right, crab meat you just eat it. Okay. Did I forget to loot it? I'm doing something wrong. I think 76 kind of captures the core magic, that is the exploration. Yeah, that feeling of going out into the world and looking around for something and finding it, that's pretty addictive. It is part of what I really like about Bethesda titles and Elder Scrolls games, but man, has that been a cavalcade of disaster. I only started playing Fallout 4 this year. And it has some good elements, but it's clearly a mess, and it's pretty clear that Fallout 76 was just someone going, you know what? Let's just take that game and figure out how to put a multiplayer plugin on it. Hello. Saris Ancestral 2. Okay, it's quite likely there are ghosts in here who I believe may be resistant to non-magical weapons, so bound thing will do a pretty good job against them. That's clearly a trap. It's a pit with a skull at the bottom. I have successfully disarmed the trap. Hi, ghost. Wooden door trapped. Oh! Hey, my agility's increased. Oof. The ability to see how much value per weight there is a mod. I highly recommend it for obvious reasons. Okay, you know what's going on here? I've been thinking that T is my take-all key, when in fact, it's just writing it up here in search by name and I don't realize it. So that's why I've been, like, getting rid of mudcrab meat. Is there a take-all key? I guess not. Oof, I do not want to click that every time. We'll deal for now, and I'll look for a solution later. That's trapped. The world wants me to have moon sugar. Teleport to your base had one chance on you over the cliff and you fall to the base. Oh yeah, that's pretty great. Anything else in here? I think I can still hear ghosts. Book of Rest and Endings. 50 fathers, frozen in slave past, rift from the wraith loom, sunder the life weave, lock tight in earth grip, hold firm in grave fast. Quest item, maybe? Or maybe just... Potion of Fortified Personality is good. 35. Okay, this restores stats. This cures these things. We don't need these. Indwelling. Fortified Magicka. Yeah, I'll take it. There's a spooky ghost. You know what? Fire doesn't miss. Wear 2 rings in this game. Ashams are great. I just imagine they probably taste like sweet potatoes, but because it's Morrowind, they probably taste like, okay, bug vomit. Okay, that guy's kind of scary. Hopefully doesn't give us a disease. We're an Argonian, we'll be okay. So he's hitting me with something, and I don't know what it is. It's Curse of Draining Attributes, Endurance. Nothing in there. Trap chest. Riveting gameplay. And nothing inside. Perhaps the real treasure. Or the friends we met along the way. Like that Bone Walker. So I think we can use this to restore ourselves if we have enough money for it, which we do. Okay, no, it was a temporary effect anyway. There's drain and there's damage. The layering in this is really nice. What layering? I feel like I can still hear a ghost. Oh, yeah, for sure. No, looks like I pretty much cleared that place out. Okay, good. Just spooky ambience, I guess. I do like the frugality of the interface in this game. Like, anytime you want to, there's your menu. That's everything you need here compared to Skyrim. And, you know, like, spell, weapon. That's all there is. What I'm not too thrilled about is the way that you need to click on some of the interface options. Potion of water walking. I tried to make one right, just failed. I'd like to be able to do take all, keyboard, and so forth. There might be some easier ways to handle it. I seem to recall another cave up the coast here. There it is. I guess Fallout 4 and maybe 76 brought it back. Yeah. Fallout 4 did kind of bring that back, but no one liked the way that the armor looked over your equipment. Yeah, very ugly or statistically insignificant because they removed the damage threshold. People ended up using a lot of mods to just hide it completely. I keep thinking it's going to tell me that, wow, that is kind of nice, right? What time is it anyway? 7 p.m.? Okay, sunset. And the sun's setting in the west. So shift click doesn't do anything, control click doesn't do anything, right click will close it. Fine. Ballistic weave was pretty good. Oh, friend. Does this hurt you? No effect. Okay. That's a pretty powerful scroll. Weakness to fire, fire damage, 10 to 15 points. We're going to talk about making spells when we hit a Mage's Guild eventually. Puddles wants to join a Mage's Guild. For the moment, we're just heading north. And because it's been a while since we weren't in prison, could you chill for one moment? We're gonna swim there for part of the way, because it's nice to have water again. Hey, my speed has increased. Crap. Take 2. Okay. And let's actually put on the shield spell. This will give us a little bit more armor. Burn labeled Lord Bryn trapped. Take a sip of tea. All that for a common amulet. How's our probe doing? It's about halfway gone. Okay. Maybe we can loot it and heal fast enough that we don't die? Okay, yeah. That was close. Mentor's Ring. Constant effect. Int willpower. Great. Key to the chest that we just opened, and his ashes. So that's pretty good. And no, I didn't remember that that was there. Made that ring weigh 100 pounds. Damn. Which one is this? Veloth? Don't we already have Veloth's Blessing? Or we did for a bit anyway. I don't know who that guy is, but we're taking his ashes with us. And this weapon. I mean, road less traveled, right? Note that Magicka doesn't restore on its own in this game unless you rest, or drink a potion, or figure out a way to do it. There is one very cheap way to restore a lot of magic right away, and that's you create a spell that is drain 100 intelligence for 1 second on self, which will immediately reduce your Magicka storage to 0, but it counts then as having 100% of your magicka. So when the spell wears off, the game is kind enough to say, oh, you know, let's increase this proportionately based upon how much they had. So you basically gain it all back right away. Yeah, Kate, I didn't remember. It's been a year since I played this. Okay, we're now headed towards an area which is this weird Ashlander type region. All the plants are mostly dead. The ground is just this ashy thing. And there's this weird scrib doing a little butt dance. You're adorable, but I need jelly. Thank you. Whenever you see a name like that, you get a little bit nervous, because it doesn't sound like an egg mine. It sounds like... Oh, that guy looks like a bandit. Alright, how do we want to go about this? Get the dagger and spell ready. Oops. Shield spells up. Dagger's out.
You'll be good soon.
Great. All right. Magic. Good thing they obey the honor system of Puddles being allowed to leave the cave and call base. And then he's safe.
Here it comes.
There it goes. Alright, what did you have here? Just a steel broadsword. Kicking my ass with that. So, armored pants, we haven't had those yet. So we're now wearing pants, armor, skirt, robe. Great. $2.9. How much was this worth? 5.0. Okay, advance a little bit further in. I'll quick save here, but I don't want to save scum too much in here. Okay. So here's an issue. Dark Elves take like 50% less damage from fire, so the fact that we start with a fire spell means that roughly half the NPCs in the game don't take much damage from that. Maybe more than half. The other thing about low fatigue is, you see how sometimes I'm stumbling? That happens more the less fatigue you have. I like your face tats. Zero chill. Let's see here. drink one of my restore health potions. At some point we're going to want to make something like a potion of drain fatigue. That's a pretty big axe on a pretty small lady. Yeah, no. I'm far enough in that I want to finish this place, but dang. You look like a Bosmer? Okay, Ghost. Go tank. Good work. You? At least I died as I lived, raising my light armor skill. Throw a ghost at her. What can I do from here? It's pretty clear that she'll go after me over them. It's pretty clear as well that I'm not going to win by standing toe-to-toe with her. Ghost, please help. Ghost! Thank you. Father's hand, shield, cursed ring. I mean, I guess I could try to do this. Oops. Kind of raises the question, where are my arrows even going at that point?
Escape me.
Just need one good hit.
You can run now.
I didn't get it. Okay, one more try, and then we just flee like a coward. Okay, Ghost, you go. Good, okay. The only thing I do have is this. Which, like... yeah. That'll do. Hey, a right gauntlet. Oh god, there's more of you. Oh hey, slaves. Maybe you have the key. Okay, so that guy one-shot me. We're gonna come back to this cave. Let me just make a note here on my to-do list. Because at this point it's very clear that the only way I'm getting through this would be really scummy behavior. Clear out slavers from Zane C. Pilu in the Bitter Coast. North of Seyda. Alright. I could, yeah. And, it would definitely do the job. But I still think it would be tricky. Plus there's another room, guys. Nacho left. I forgot about Nacho left. There was another one, right? I notice I'm going pretty slowly now. I'm going pretty slowly because I'm at 169 equip load. Oh right, another thing that works into the calculation is the durability of your weapon. And armor. Still good practice. Blunt weapons at... getting up there. Okay, which way to... say it. Almora's up the river. Fine. Well, none of those point to Balmora, but I'm pretty sure that we can just walk in this water for a bit. We'll be fine. So at this point, we've landed here. We know we have a job to do. And with no other source of income, I think we're just going up to Balmora to do it. Anything I can drop that is not particularly... useful. Well, one thing we can do is this. Get ourselves drunk, and we'll run a little faster. Because we're less encumbered. Fast way to raise acrobatics right here. Go up a hill while spamming the jump button. It's raining again. Heather is useful because it has the feather property, which because encumbrance is so much of a pain in the butt, we're going to want to make feather potions if we can. I think the blue ones there restore health or stamina. Let's take a look. Stone flower. Nothing on that one. Restore strength and fortify magicka. Okay. Hey, a skeeper. Hey, it crashed your desktop. You can see where Bethesda pioneered some of their technology. Can you imagine, though, if, like, Fallout 4 reloaded this quickly? Oh, God. Alright. Puddles is really bad with bows. They hadn't made Fallout 4's main menu a video. Oh. Okay, so this place looks like a mine of some sort. Evil purple rocks. I think equipping the bow ends up unequipping my shield. This is a good way to raise blunt weapons, which I want to do because of that. Strength going up. Oh, it's raw ebony. Ooh. That weighs quite a bit. But it's worth quite a lot. Can I put sword in the ebony? No, okay. Well done, Todd. Throw that away. Kinda want to fight with the spear for a bit. We're not going to be terrible at it because we are an Argonian. We do get a bonus, but... It is very relaxing to not have to worry so much about what I'm raising. We're not very close to level 2. And just be like, yeah, I feel like using a spear right now. Let's drink the other mass tea. Looks like more raw ebony down here. Okay. Rebucket. Given trading in ebony is technically illegal except for the Empire's companies, of course. Yeah, I love it. It's one more thing that's sort of like, I don't know if you'd call it political commentary because it doesn't really, it's not trying to comment, it's just portraying this world. And you can actually see, like, why the Empire wants to hold on to Morrowind and why the people of Morrowind might resent it. And it's little things like that is a flaming thingamajiggy. Like the ebony trade, right? Only the Empire is allowed to sell it, mine it, and so forth. Okay, you're a flame Eternach. Nope, 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 nope. Fire Elemental angry that I killed her pet rats. Okay. Enter our list. Retrieve Ebony from Vasir. Ignant Cave, south of Balmora. But be careful, Flame Eternach. Seems like we totally missed Elagia. Hey, what kind of flowers are you? Willow flowers. Drained personality. Not great. So these guys are part of the hive system, Quana. Much like termites, they have a variety of castes. Scrib are also a part of it. Hey, a skeever. You can do it, buddy. You can do it before the cliff racer hits you. Damn, this mouse sensitivity. Got him. I might as well be tossing septums in a hole at this point. That's two things that we have that have levitate on them. One of them is the racer plumes. What was the other one? Oh, flowers, right. Hooray. Potion of levitate. Levitate only lets you go up and down. Doesn't let you fly around. This is something that wasn't in later Elder Scrolls games. But... oh, maybe it does let you fly around. 9 seconds of this. I'm a wizard, no longer. And there's Balmora. And don't see a handicap accessible way down, but I bet I can jump in the water. Nope. Nope. You know what would go great right now? A potion to levitate. I did. You can see up there on the right, there are dwarven ruins right outside of town. Balmora is the first big city that you reach in the game. And as such things go, it's not like as large as Ebonheart or Vivek. Those are a whole other section, but it's one step below that. It has all the major guilds represented. I think it's the seat of House Falu. Hey, fellow lizard.
This scent is new.
Yes. Welcome to Balmora. Council seat of the Great House Falu, and the largest town on Vanderfall except for Vivek City. Located on the Odai River and sitting astride the Aldruin-Vivek Road, Balmora is an important mercantile, trade, and travel center. High Town is the administrative center with the temple and manor houses. The shops, guilds, and trade houses of the commercial district are north of the river. Labor Town's modest corner clubs and homes are south of the river. That's where we want to go. So one in particular. Fighters Guild, Vitus Firi. Morag Tong Steward. Sugar Lips Habasi is the local Thieves Guild boss. Oh, Mages Guild. Francis Arth is this. Little secret. Talk is cheap. Ask questions. You don't ask, you don't learn. Southwall. Southwall's a working class corner club. Hey, nice feathers. Oh, nice oh, goodbye. Okay, so you see how this thing says rank kinsman? That's an indication of what level you have to be with the faction that owns the item to be allowed to steal it without repercussions. That's not something that's shown by default, that's a mod that I have that's doing that. Otherwise in this game you just kind of have to know. Always grab salt rice. Do I have anything else to restore fatigue? Scripturally. Failed. So your name is Drinks and Puddles, and you're new here in Balmora. Well, my name is Saltilde, and I don't mind answering questions. I have nothing else in my mind right now. If I start to bore you about Morrowind lore, just let me know. The Dunmer don't like Outlanders. After 4 centuries, they still aren't really part of the Empire. I understand their loyalty to religion and culture, but at heart, I think they just hate other races. An Outlander is anyone born and raised outside of Morrowind. Most Dunmer think anyone who isn't a native-born Dunmer is an Outlander. Dunmer with Western words and ways are also immediately identified as Outlanders. Dunmer are very sensitive to accents, clothes, and manners in Morrowind. This is to explain why people will still treat you as an Outlander, even if you pick Dark Elf as your race. Outlanders are foreigners, and Morrowind doesn't like foreigners. It's not bad here in Hualu territory, but on the rest of Vanderfell, folks are very cool to Outlanders. Most native Dunmer don't like foreigners. The Dunmer are a proud people, and they look down on other races and cultures. They particularly dislike Outland Dunmer. Dark elves are born and raised to imperial ways who don't know what it is to be a Dunmer born and bred. This is also explaining sort of why your character doesn't know anything when they arrive here. Foreigners can be accepted in Morrowind, even adopted in great houses. There's even a Nord on the House Walu Council, but it isn't easy. It takes time and effort to win a native's trust. We Nords of Skyrim are big, strong, stubborn, and hardy. We love to fight and are afraid of nothing. Kais Studies? That old sugar tooth? I'm not sure where he's living now, but ask Closius, the owner. He'll know. We've had peace and prosperity in Morrowind under the Empire for centuries. It's a government by law, and the legions enforce that law. The Empire has free trade and free religion, so we're rich in pockets and in spirit. Yes, there is corruption. Yes, there are crimes and criminals. Yes, the rich get richer and the poor poorer. But overall, things are pretty good. Information about the Fighters Guild. We're going to be joining all 3 major guilds. 3 great houses rule Vanderfell. House Redoran are noble warriors and strong supporters of the temple. House Walu are traders and merchant princes, and strong supporters of the Empire. House Tovani are independent wizard lords, hostile to the Empire, the temple, and the other great houses. It's a little advice about pickpocketing. Oh, you're a pawnbroker. Can I not sell moon sugar to the fence? Okay, High Town on the hill to the west has the Morak Tong. We'll check that out too. Fort Moonmoth, southeast of town, hosts the Legion garrisons and the Imperial Cult. Name of the volcanic ravine leading up to the Ghost Gate. Why we would want to go there is beyond me. About 50% are Dunmer. The other half are escorted. Assorted. We're small, sharp, and smart. We love wild creatures, wild beauty, and wildlife, unlike our dull cousins. We're not very polite, but don't have to be, since we shoot straight and run like the wind. I'm a scout. This guy can train you in various things. This was sort of the way that I had to level up before.
This better be important.
It's not. It's up here. Oh, this is the guy who owns the place. Otkaius rents a little bed and basket just up the hill to the north edge of town. Go out the front door, not the upper door of the terrace, then right up the stairs, then left at the top of the stairs and down to the end of the street. So you can buy a little inn here, and buy like an inn room here. Someone said Larius Varro over at Fortmouth is looking for you. Said he wanted to talk to you. Don't know what about. Interesting, given that I just got here.
What's this about?
Okay, you don't want to buy skooma either. Whatever the fence downstairs
This
will.
better be important.
Oh, Sugar Lips Habasi. You want to join the Thieves Guild? Yeah. Well, let's hear the rules. There is honor among thieves. Do not steal from a brother thief. Everyone else is a mark. Do not attack a brother thief. Do what you will to everyone else. If you have a price on your head, we have ways of taking care of it. If you break these rules, you must speak with one of the masterminds here in Vanderfell. Yeah, I can handle that. You are now a toad in the Thieves Guild. Welcome, brother drinks from puddles. Talk to me when you want some odd jobs to do and when you think you're ready for advancement. If you have a price in your head, there are those who can help with that as well. A good friend of Habasi wants a diamond. Now Karia, the alchemist, has diamonds. A friend wants a diamond from Habasi. Bring Habasi a diamond. I love how straightforward you are. northwest side of town. Great. Okay, pretty sure Khajiit will buy the moon sugar from me, but she will not sell to me unless I'm higher rank.
What do you want?
Information here about the Thieves Guild. What do I need for advancement? No one questions your skills as deep, but some question your loyalty. So advancing in the guilds in this game is a matter of both having the correct number of stats, correct level of stats, and doing enough quests to advance. Barter. Okay, you're only going to sell me lockpicks. I could use another journeyman probe. The old gray-haired gobbles sugar like Scuttle. Here and there is surprised he still walks, but it doesn't affect him. This is the mark of a long-time user. So we know that our contact appears to be a drug addict.
Why do you approach?
Only he stands there. I don't know what your business with him is, but be careful. Caius Casades may appear to be a pathetic old man, but don't judge by appearances. Some people made that mistake a while ago, and now they're not with us anymore.
This scent is new.
Yes, friend?
You're in the guild? I can't sell moon sugar to you either. Here, you can have this book of astrology.
Yes?
Interesting fellow. Been in Balmora a long time, since before the district reorganization. This is about our contact again. Been in some trouble, but he apparently knows some people. Goes off for a while, then comes back. He's a veteran, I think, has friends over at Fort Moonmoth. Don't know where he gets his money, but I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't legal. Alright, so he's an agent of the Empire whose cover story is being a drug addict criminal here in Balmora. I wanted to sell the moon sugar to you.
You wish to speak?
Yeah, it's a mod, so... 1 second here. I never was completely happy with the... You can go to hyena.io/Morrowind/mods.txt. Oops. To see the ones that I'm using. This one I think was actually recommended by Cade. I'm not completely happy with it. I don't like how smooth they look, but it works. We're gonna go to Caius's house and then stop there for the night. Been at this for just about 3 hours. That's where I like to cut things off. Alright, and here is our contact. Gonna hold off on talking to him. We'll start with that next time. Thank you for watching. Next time we're going to be doing some Thieves Guild quests, check out the Mages Guild, the Fighters Guild, see what this guy wants from us, and maybe check over at Fort Moonmoth as to what's going on there. And maybe go find Pelagiad and check out that little Imperial town. At the moment, Puddles is kind of broke, his robe is crappy, he'd like to learn more magic and make more money. Of course, we all do. Alright, thanks for watching. I'm intending to try to do these about midday most days. Tomorrow I might be a little bit late. I was late today as well, because we're under lockdown. And this seems like the good type of thing to get yourself lost in. There's a lot of game here, and so I think it could go on for quite a while. Thanks for watching, and good day.